the Hallmarkies podcast. We're so excited to have another interview for you today. We are here talking with actor Sarah Edmondson, and we're so delighted to get a chance to talk to you. She is going to be in the upcoming film Roadhouse Romance. And thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so what we like to do in our interviews is start by asking our guests to tell us what inspired you to become an actor.
Well, I really feel like I've been an actor or performer kind of my whole life. I was one of those kids who would gather up all the children at a dinner party and put on a show at the end of the night, which I think was very much encouraged by my parents. And it was just like a hobby and things that I did throughout elementary school, extracurricularly. And then in high school, I joined a theater program at the end of that year. And then I went to university, and it was sort of a thing at that point where I could be a therapist. Oops, that goes off. Sorry. A therapist, or I could go into acting. And that was sort of the crossroads. My mom's a therapist. My dad's a counselor.
There you go.
But both of them always really, were supportive of my acting career. And around that time, I also did get an agent. And then I went to university to do this theater program. And my boyfriend at the time had an agent, and he'd started working in film and television in Montreal. And it was at a great time for English speaking people in Montreal to start work, because it was a small pool and there was lots of production. So that's where I got started in film and television, was in the 90s in Montreal.
That's really cool. And did you do musicals in high school?
I did musicals. Yeah, I did 42nd Street and Fiddler on the Roof. And God, I don't even remember now. So many things. Those are the two that stood out for me as my main.
Those are two really good ones.
Oh yeah, two of my favorite. But I love musicals. Yeah. I love Les Mis. I love Rent.
Yeah. Les Mis was my favorite.
Yeah.
I listened to the 10th anniversary concert recording like ad nauseum. I knew every single song.
Oh, it's
and so when I finally got to see it, this was my freshman year of high school, I got to see it on Broadway, and it managed to meet my very high expectations at that point. So that was good.
I sang on my own in my theater school singing class, like final production. That's a hard song to sing.
It's very hard.
Really hard songs, but
it's such a belt song.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah. That's really cool. I'm so excited. I'm going to a Broadway trip in October.
What are you going to see?
I can't wait. I'm going to be there for 5 days. So it's a pretty long trip. And I'm going to see Hadestown. I'm going to see Waitress and Tina and Six and Aladdin. So it's going to be epic.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm so out of touch with the only thing I know what was recently good was Hamilton. And that's probably I'm way behind.
It's so good. I love Hamilton.
Yeah, I would love. I really want to see that.
Did you watch it on Disney Plus?
I didn't, because I wanted to see it on stage first. Or I should watch it on that. That'll probably be the closest I have till I get to New York again, which feels like not something that's going to happen anytime soon. But we'll see.
You should, because it's a different experience. Because in the filmed version, you can get close up on the actors, whereas going to see it live, which I've been lucky enough to see, it's just a different experience and being part of the audience. So you should do both.
I will. I've always had a very fondness for musical theater and stage acting, but ultimately now as a mother, I'll probably never do both again and just do film. I mean, I wish I could do both, but just the time commitment.
Yeah.
And with the pay being so low in comparison.
Yeah.
And I truthfully, I don't have the chops to be a musical theater actress. I'm not strong enough singer. Oh, Wicked. I loved Wicked. That was one of my favorites as well.
So good. If we'll ever get the Wicked movie. I keep talking about it, but then it just never seems to happen.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah. But you have been a voice actor in a number of projects, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to interview, because I love animation. And so I always like to talk to any of the Hallmark talent that also does the voice acting. someone like Giles Panton, who we mentioned off air, and Andrew Francis has done a lot and a bunch of different. So I'm curious, kind of what your process is for coming up with a voice.
Usually when I audition, I get given a picture and I have a description, like this is a character who's vivacious or tough or whatever the descriptives are. So I kind of internalize that, look at the picture, and it's kind of an organic process, and just try to express the voice that I see with that picture, which reminds me a little bit of back to theater school stuff. We did a lot of mask work where they'd give us all these crazy masks and put them on, and you'd go into the mirror and you'd sort of a character would emerge and you'd start speaking in a different voice because you were inspired by the whatever you saw in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's similar for me when I'm auditioning. And truthfully, I'm not one of those voice actors who has a billion voices under their belt. There are people who do that. I have a smaller range because I can't go super high. I'm an alto and my voice doesn't go that high. So I can't do like little babies. I do a lot of teenage kind of like tough, tough, strong women, which is great. Sometimes like preteen or like young teen boys. And then now that I'm in my 40s, I'm doing more mothers but I also do a lot of radio and a lot of commercials, and I get to do a mix, but I find it really fun and a great career as a mom because it's much less time commitment. Usually a 4-hour session, whereas most movies are at least 8 to 12-hour days.
Yeah. So when you have a role that originated in another language, like with The Little Prince, or some of the other projects, do you listen to the foreign recording in order to come up with you, or do you treat it totally it's its own thing?
Sometimes it depends what the production wants. I'm trying Little Prince, which was, by the way, one of my favorite projects ever to work on. I think that they played it for me and they had like a reference, but they also were okay with me somewhat making it my own. Most productions have a voice ref that they give you when you're auditioning if they want you to match it.
Oh, that's interesting. So have you been recording it at home? Do you have like a home booth or?
I do. So right now I'm in my living room because it's just brighter and bigger. I do have a little booth, but it's not a proper voice booth. It's enough to audition with. It's not really enough to record a proper. I mean, that was my goal during the pandemic to set it up, but I realized in this home, wasn't legitimately physically possible. But in my future dream home, I will have a booth for sure. Right, babe?
Because I know that some voice actors use their closet.
Yeah.
And to get the sound.
That's what it is.
Kind of their booth.
It's technically a pantry that years ago I turned into an office, just basically for my office stuff. And then during the pandemic, I put panels up and made it more soundproof and got this proper mic and a Scarlett. I don't know what that's called. The thing that the cords go into your computer. I forget the name of it right now. So I have all the gear. It's just not soundproof.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. I love voice acting. When you're reading to your kids, do you do different voices?
I do. Absolutely. I do. Yeah. That's probably one of my favorite things of reading to the kids is doing. In fact, I did, I was reading Harry Potter to my son, and my British accent isn't amazing, but there's like, all these, there's Harry and then all the characters and the wizards. So I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
Then I was trying to keep them all straight in my head. It was difficult.
When I was interviewing Catherine Disher, who's a great voice actress, she said that she was one time doing all the voices for her son, and he was like, "Can you just read it?"
Yeah, that's happened. He's like, "Mom, I'm getting to the point now where my 7-year-old, I embarrass him, and I love that. I love it. Like I'll break out into like a rap or something at the park. I'll start doing like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he'll be like, "Mom, stop." Jeez.
Yeah, that's true to kids. They don't really want you to play with them. They just want you to do it the way they
and
they see it. Yeah. So, if I'm right, your first role for Hallmark was on When Calls the Heart. Is that correct?
I'm gonna have to look at my own IMDb. I'm gonna do
I
that right now.
think, according
Yeah,
to
I guess
IMDb.
so. That's you probably know better than I would. That was I guess so. I was also pregnant with Troy, the one I was just talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was and that's actually I think why I was not brought back. I don't know this for sure, but I was
Mhm.
pregnant and we don't my husband and I already gotten married, but we were having a big wedding party. Our first official wedding was a small thing. And just in case people are wondering, was I pregnant out of wedlock? And I got married, got pregnant, and then we had a big party.
Yeah.
And that's when I had my like stagette and all that stuff. And the
Mhm.
stagette, my dates for One Calls the Heart got switched. So I ended up being on set the day of my stagette, and I had 30 women over at my friend's house, and we had like a psychic tarot reader and a manicure person and all this
Oh.
amazing food. And I missed most of it because I was in a scene. And I was just like, guys, like, can you just like, it was a huge group. So I'm like, can you please just like just shoot my scene so I can go to my stay, my, my bridal party. And I was the last close up to be shot of the day.
Oh.
And I missed most of it, but it was worth it because I had a great time on One Calls the Heart. I wish there'd be more.
I've never heard that phrase before. Steakette?
Stagette?
Baguette. Stagette. Is that like
Uh,
a bachelorette party?
yeah. Stag like do you have a stag parties in the US?
Well, yeah, like you can go stag to a dance and stuff,
Oh,
but I've never heard
oh,
of a stagette.
so a stag and stagette is the equivalent of a bachelor or bachelorette party.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
like I'm going to someone's stag means I'm going to their big night before they, lock it down. And same
Cool.
with stagette. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm skimming my IMDb. I think you're right. I think that might have been my first thing for Hallmark. And then what do you have after that on your list?
Well, I I think it's interesting that the episode that you were on is all about kind of the power of the women in Hope in Coal Valley at the
Yep.
time, because they find out all the women find out they all have to move out of the company
Right.
housing, and so they put on their mining caps and get to work. And so it's kind of sort of sad that such a female powered episode you were kept away from your
My
from your
bachelorette party.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I remember one of the producers was like, word of advice, don't accept a role when you're getting married. And I'm like, well, you're right. You're probably right. I shouldn't have done that. But I wanted to do it all. I wanted to get married and be on One Calls the Heart.
Yeah, yeah.
No hard feelings.
Well,
But I
it
think
all worked out, I
I,
guess.
I
That's
have
good.
pictures of me in my mining cap. I should post some of that little behind the
Yeah,
scenes
that'd be
for the
fun.
for the what are they called? The Hardys?
Parties.
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah,
some hashtag Hardy action.
that'd be fun. So then, according to IMDb, your next film was Love at First Spark,
Oh yeah, that's right. That was
for
fun playing
Hallmark.
Cassie. Yeah, that was fun.
hmm And that's a pretty cute movie
That was cute. Did you see
with
that one?
I did, yeah, with Jana Kramer and Kevin McGarry. And so and we love Natasha Burnett. She's great. So I had a great cast. Plus,
Yeah.
all those doggies must have been fun.
Yeah. It was so fun. And I got to be pregnant. I was pregnant in a couple films back to back, actually. That one. And then in At Home in Mitford with Andy McDowell
Mhm.
was also pregnant in that one. This just seemed to be a
Mm,
thing
yeah,
being
yeah, they
taken
put you to
pregnant.
work
Yeah.
because you were in the second Wedding March movie,
hmm That was fun
and
too.
those ones always look like a lot of fun to be in
Yeah.
at that resort and everything.
I was just happy to be, yeah, I was at Harrison Hot Springs and being put up in the hotel with the hot springs and being an ensemble cast, like
Yeah.
ensemble cast with pretty much anyone in Vancouver. I'm happy to be working with. It's like, oh, you're on this film. Awesome. Let's work and we'll have a hot tub. And like,
Yeah,
it's
except
just
for
great.
you couldn't do the hot springs if you're pregnant. That's no
I
fun.
wasn't pregnant for real. I was pregnant
Oh, okay.
yeah, I was pregnant as a character. Yeah.
Oh, good.
But yeah, but in Wedding March 2, I was not pregnant.
Okay, good.
No.
So then you were in Wedding of Dreams, and so you got to work with Debbie Gibson. That must have been
That
super
was
fun.
awesome and hilarious because she's such a hoot and she's so talented and she's just like breaks out into song whenever she has a minute. It's just the best.
Yeah, I think Elaine Edwards is telling us that she would put on little concerts type things.
Yes.
She's just there playing. It's amazing.
Yeah. It was so wild.
Yeah, that's cool. He's also another one of our favorites, Layne
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
He's so
He's
funny.
Lane. Lane is great. He actually, one of those nights we finished at 4 a.m. I was so tired and I had self-driven and I was worried I was going to fall asleep. So we talked to, even in separate cars. I called him.
Yeah.
He talked me home on the
Oh,
45-minute drive home. He was such a sweetheart.
that's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done a couple Christmas movies, Welcome to
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, Five Star Christmas, and I'm
Yep.
curious, do you prefer doing the Christmas movies or doing the non-Christmas movies?
I mean, it just sort of depends on the script and the people involved. My role in Five Star Christmas was teeny, teeny, tiny. That was more something fun because Christy Will, the director, needed because it was COVID, a real mother and child pair
Mm.
for a flashback. And what was really funny
Oh,
is that the child was my son who had curly blonde hair. We pulled it into a ponytail to play a little baby girl, and this was for a flashback scene. And like I was just mentioning before we started, meeting Bethany Joy Lenz, she was the lead in Five Star Christmas. I didn't know her
mm.
at the time. So in the flashback, she finds a video of herself on a VHS tape with her in the time of the movie Deceased Mother. So I play her deceased mother and my son plays her as a little girl, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just met her recently. I'm like, here's my son who plays you in a movie. The weird world.
Yeah.
But Welcome to Christmas was a much more substantial role. And that was really fun because I got to work with one of my oldest friends from Montreal. Like I said, I got started in the 90s. And one of my very, very first shows was a TV show on YTV, which is like Nickelodeon in Canada. It was called The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo. And it was like this
Ooh.
Asian Nancy Drew teen mystery drama. And Jennifer Finnegan, I don't know if you've ever had her on this. Like
No, we never have.
okay, so she was on that and I was on that and we became friends. And then she moved to LA and she was on Bold and the Beautiful for years and
Ah,
had this incredible career. And we've kept in more than just touch. Like she's one of my besties. So we got to work together on that and we had a blast and we kept each other afloat in those
that's
long
cool.
Hallmark days.
Did you shoot that one in the summer? Were you roasting?
I feel like it wasn't summer, but it definitely was excessive amount of sweaters. I remember it being like, and then, trying to make, you probably have heard, it's just very difficult
Yeah.
to make. In fact, I've had a couple of Christmas auditions in the last few weeks and it's been really hot here. I'm like, I just don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can sit in this heat in a Christmas jacket. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I know they give like ice packs and things like that, but it's definitely got to be challenging. I think that's why some people prefer the non-Christmas.
Yeah, that's true. There's got to be a way. I'm just going to propose this to the Hallmark producers.
Mm-hmm.
So start shooting a year in advance. Start
Yeah.
in Christmas, shoot the Christmas movies for next year, and then you won't have this problem.
Yeah, or during winter.
Yeah, or even winter. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like shoot them when it's seasonally appropriate. Because also in all the Christmas movies, I'm sure nobody cares, but I look at it and go, those trees are green. Those are not winter trees.
We also there is this one stock photo of a car driving through white, snowy trees. I swear I saw that thing 500 times last Christmas. It was like the same stock video over and over and over again. Like, can we use something else?
Yeah, well, some formulas are just tried and true. We actually, my husband and I have a couple ideas for some scripts that we want to write if we ever get our act together.
Yeah.
Right? We're gonna do it. Yeah. We have one of them is that we have this summer resort that we go to. And I'm actually not going to say it here because I don't want anyone to steal my idea, but I have an idea for a summer resort Hallmark movie.
For Christmas?
No, for a summer. It'll be a summer movie.
Oh, okay. I know because I was saying they're not going to purchase a summer, a warm climate movie at Christmas.
No.
The only one that I've ever seen is they did one for we ended up on ABC randomly. They had one in Hawaii, and then last year in on Netflix they had Operation Christmas Drop, which was set in like Tonga or Samoa or someplace like that. But yeah, I mean, I
Wow.
would be in favor of having a warm weather Christmas movie, but
Yeah.
not Hallmark. The only one I can think of that Hallmark actually did was the I think it was called Rose for Christmas, which was set during all about the Rose Bowl,
Oh,
the
that
Rose Parade. So
oh
you
my
had to have it in
goodness.
Pasadena, so you couldn't have snow.
Yeah. Nippy, my husband, Anthony, would have loved that because he's all about the Rose Bowl. I took him to the Rose
Oh
Bowl once
yeah,
actually for a Christmas present because what else am I gonna get him?
yeah. You should definitely check that one out. Then it's got Rachel Boston in it. She's
Oh, I will.
delightful. Yeah. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast.
Terry Ferris, author of You Belong With Me and Until I Met You, returns readers to the charming town of Heritage, Michigan in the Restoring Heritage series finale.
Fans have enjoyed immersing themselves in the complicated, funny, and endearing lives of this small town.
And Since You've Been Gone, Ferris offers another romantic tale where sparks fly when two people at odds in the past must learn to trust each other to ensure a better future.
Not only do you get one great romance in Since You've Been Gone, but it also has a sweet secondary relationship, which includes themes of faith, forgiveness, and love.
Pick up Since You've Been Gone wherever you purchase your books or use our affiliate link.
For more information on the Restoring Heritage series, visit https://terryferris.com/books.
That's www.terryferris.com/books.
All right. Well, so you have this new movie, Roadhouse Romance, coming out. And why don't you tell our audience a little bit about the movie?
Am I allowed to? Is it like top secret?
No, it's
Oh,
not top secret. I
what
mean,
what
just not
what do
like
you what do you know about
well,
what do you know? And I'll tell you what I
the
know.
summary on IMDb says when Callie returns home, she finds her hometown has changed. Her first love has a new girl, and her family's barbecue restaurant has hit hard times. She clashes with a marooned big shot director who might hold the key to saving the restaurant.
Sounds about right.
So,
That sounds about right. And then
yeah.
romance ensues. So I
So tell us
play
about your character.
Willa, Callie's aunt, and this is actually the first time that I've had a love interest in a Hallmark movie because I'm
Mhm.
always either the supporting friend trying to get the leads together, or like in Wedding of Dreams, I was the wedding planner who was Gibson's character made an assumption that maybe I was the other woman. But this is the
Oh,
first
you were
time.
that character in that movie.
Yeah, I was
That
the
was
wedding planner.
devious. That was a pretty like devious character for a Hallmark movie. Like
Well,
usually they don't have someone like literally going after the other person's
Well,
van.
I actually wasn't, but she thought that I was. I was just over there helping him plan the wedding, and so she walked in on them cheersing with champagne, if I recall, and was like, "Oh no, he loves somebody else."
Yeah.
But I wasn't like trying to. The character wasn't trying to. But yeah, still.
Okay.
So, but I've never had my own flirtation in a
Mhm.
Hallmark, and I get to have one
Oh, that's
with
fun.
Michael Teagan, who plays
Ooh.
Tyler Hines's character's agent, and so Tyler falls for Lauren and I fall for his agent, and it's all very romantic
Oh.
and very sweet. It's a very like there's lots of references in the script to certain pop culture things that I think people will really enjoy, and um I thought it was really lovely. Did you get to watch a screener?
I haven't. I didn't get to watch the screener for this one, but I was curious because I didn't know if Tyler is the first love or the marooned big shot director.
Oh, he's the big director.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the director, and they get stopped at this roadhouse, and there's a car accident, so he can't leave town because the car's
Oh.
getting fixed, and you know how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be careful with your cars. I mean, that's very similar to Welcome for Christmas.
Yes, there was a
She
broken
gets in
down
the
car.
car
She couldn't
accident
leave.
and then
Don't drive to a small town and get into a car accident because you might fall in love and never
you
be
might
alone.
you're either gonna fall in love or you're going to find out like a haunted house or something like
Yeah.
that. Depending on which movie you're in, a
Yeah.
horror movie or Hallmark movie.
I actually think, and I know I have an affinity to projects and I feel close to the script and the people, but I really feel like this one has some really lovely messages to it. And I won't say what,
Hmm.
but I'm sure people will enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's just very heart, really heartwarming and very sweet. And like ultimately, the characters do the right thing. And I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So is that fun working with Lauren?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Similar to Debbie, actually, just like breaking out into
Yeah.
song at any moment. She's such a she's got such an effervescent, warm personality, and she's so talented and has like so much going on in her life. She has a book and a new album and this Hallmark movie, and it was just really fun. Like we had a really ensemble casts are fun anyway, but when you have a lead like Lauren who's such a bright shiny star, it's really, and also very humble too, like
Hmm.
humble and down to earth. And if you didn't know who she was in the country music scene, you know that was okay, you know what I mean, like because she
Yeah.
was just like normal and friendly.
Do we get to hear her sing at all?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Yes. All right.
that was the best part for me because I was playing her aunt, hosting her in this, in this environment that was my
Mhm.
Tucker's Roadhouse. So I got to have these concerts, so sit front row, and we had a
Nice.
number of like amazing private concerts because you don't just shoot it once; you shoot it from different angles. And
Hmm.
she's a talent. I cried every time. I literally cried because when you see a performance like it's so
Hmm.
moving and you're like just touched by it.
That's awesome. It's so fun when we get a new talent because I think this is one of her first movies that she's ever done. So
Mhm.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're excited for the movie. It's going to be super fun. We like to end our interviews with some silly questions. I'm sure you
Okay.
heard if you listened to the interview. So, all right. First question: what is the best ice cream flavor?
Chocolate, and any variation of that, like chocolate, coconut, dark. The
Hmm.
darker, the better.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Mhm.
What's your favorite color?
I think this color, pink, I'm really into right now. Color of my glasses are like
Oh,
rose color. Hmm.
yeah. Very nice. Okay. What music are you into right now?
Um, I'm kind of into Lauren's actually. Like I made actually myself and Adele, who plays her first boyfriend, made country music lists for us all, so we could get into
Nice.
the vibe of the story. So I'm really loving Lauren's.
Hmm.
To be honest, I don't listen to a ton of music right now because I'm always listening to books on tape, Audible, and podcasts. But and
Hmm.
then when I do play music, it's for my kids, like Raffi and what are the boys into right now? What are we listening to? No, a lot of Led Zeppelin in our house because they're all
Oh,
boys. Yeah.
yeah.
What? Oh, The Weekend. We love The Weekend too right now because the
Oh,
kids like
okay.
it too. Yeah.
Good. All right. What is your go-to date night food?
Steak. My
Good.
husband and I love us some steak.
Okay. Back when we can go out and do stuff,
Mhm.
what is your go-to date night activity? Going out and doing something.
Um, we would usually try to do something, but I would want to take him to yoga if we just were, but he was probably not super into that. But usually yoga, and then we would go for like a walk and dinner. Like I said,
Uh-huh.
a nice steak, or maybe like a double date with another couple.
Yeah, you double
Yeah,
yoga.
double yoga.
All right. Dogs or cats?
Cats.
All right, very good. Not that many people say cats, so that's
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you prefer, beaches or mountains?
Oh, I can't decide. I love them both. I'm right now. I'm looking at the beach and a mountain. I'm in
Nice.
Vancouver, so we got them both.
What is your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Ooh, hmm, that's a tough one. So my dad was raised Anglican, and my mom's Jewish, so I got to do Hanukkah and Christmas.
Hmm.
So that's similar to my mountain beach question. I got to do Hanukkah, Christmaka. Little plug to Hallmark. I want to be in the next Hanukkah movie.
Yes.
I'm
Well, we need to make
Jewish.
that happen. We need
Yeah,
to make
let's
that
make it
happen.
happen.
All right. Last question. What is your favorite Hallmark or romantic movie?
Oh, um, The last romantic movie that I saw, and I just thought it was so sweet, was Long Shot with Seth Rogen and
Oh yeah,
what's her name?
Charlize Theron.
Yeah, thank you. Sure, that's mom
Yeah.
brain. I just thought that was like hilarious and sweet, and that's the last one that sticks out in my
Yeah.
mind. But I mean, I'm a sucker for romance, and to the point where my husband will, I'll look lovingly up at him and he'll be like, "This is not a Hallmark movie, Sarah." I'm like, "Please just pretend for a minute that it is."
Yeah,
that's why I love doing Hallmarks.
I like that one. I kept wanting him to change his jacket was the ugliest jacket I've ever seen, and then it was just like it kept going through that the whole movie. That windbreaker. I'm like, ah.
Oh yeah, I know, it's the worst. I think he's great.
Yeah. Well, very good. You passed the test, answered all the questions.
Okay. Do I get a gold star?
Yeah. You can keep being in Hallmark movies.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. We really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun to get to know you. And do you have social media or anything like that you want to share?
Yeah, I'm Sarah Edmondson on Instagram. So SarahEdmondson.
Great.
On Twitter as well, Sarah J. Edmondson. And fingers crossed for me. I'm on hold for a Hallmark that I'd really love to do. That maybe next time, if I get it, I can come back.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's do it. So let us know if you're listening, what you think about all the things we talked about. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And thanks so much again for coming on. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you were watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our merch store and patron group. All the information is in the description. Thanks again, Sarah. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk again hopefully soon.
You bet.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Bye.